Hello and welcome to the show. I was going through some of my old notes and I discovered a project that I worked on in the month of July in 2021, and I never shared it on the podcast. That's because it was supposed to be a series of projects that I would have run with a tech hub in Abuja. An incubation hub, a business incubation hub in Abuja. But the business incubation hub has since closed its doors, and they have sold off the existing property and assets to another business, which is more of a co-working type space, real estate agency, that sort of thing. Anyway, so that's why this project never saw the light of day. But I'm looking at my notes, and I think there are some useful conversations or some useful insights that we can get from that. And that's what I'm going to do with today's podcast episode. I'm not going to have any links at the end to where you can find the entrepreneur in question, because, like I said, this is a project that didn't pop off because well, for several reasons. Number one, poor follow up on my own end, and then number two, the people that I should have been partnering with went out of business anyway. So you're not going to have any official links at the end of this episode, but you can use your Instagram, your Google to find the entrepreneur concerned in case you want to learn some more from him or in case you need his own services. Now, the individual in question, his name is Tim Nicholson, not a Nigerian. He is a citizen of the UK, and his business was TOR Rise Consultancy, or rather, it is TOR Rise Consultancy. I'm not sure if it's Tor and I don't know how it's pronounced. I've checked on Instagram as of last week anyway, and the business is still in existence. And what they do is they handle visa application. It's sort of like a concierge service. So if you're looking for, if you're trying to apply for visas to the UK, these are the sorts of people, the sorts of agents that you reach out to. So I was at a session, sort of a business session, where he was invited to share his story. So I'll give the little bits that I can remember based on the notes that I took at the time. So he was a civil servant. He was a member of the Border Guard and Control for the United Kingdom. Those are those folks. That's for those of us who travel from Nigeria to the UK every once in a while. Those are those folks who stand looking grim with those things that look like bulletproof vests, not smiling. Once in a while, you meet someone who's real friendly and who says hello and strikes up a conversation with you. But they're just there, they're grim, and sometimes they give the impression that their sole job is to make sure that you don't get into the UK. Anyway, he seemed like a real friendly chap, so maybe he was one of those people who would actually strike up a conversation. So that was his job, part of the border guard and control for the UK government. And he has also been a visa officer in Lagos, and he doesn't consider himself to be a natural entrepreneur. Now, pay attention because these are some of the tensions that people talk about in the business space. There's this thing of somebody's a natural born entrepreneur, and there's something about people becoming accidental entrepreneurs. So people have this whole conversation about entrepreneurship. Can you teach it? Are you born with it? Blah, blah, blah. I think the question is inconsequential because I don't think there's a natural born entrepreneur per se. Although I like to point out that for most of human history, most people were entrepreneurs. I mean, think about it. Your grandfather probably was not paid by an employer or by the civil service or whatever. Your grandfather, your great grandfather, and yes, I'm talking about people in the Nigerian context. Maybe for those of you in the United Kingdom, maybe you might have to go several layers up and think about your great 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 grandfather. But the thing is, for most parts of human history, people have had to be entrepreneurial or business minded per se. I mean, if your father was a blacksmith, he would teach you how to be a blacksmith. If your father was a hunter, he would teach you how to be a hunter. If your father was a cloth merchant, he would teach you how to be a cloth merchant. I mean, you kind of get the gist of where I'm heading. So this whole thing of being an employee is more or less a modern phenomenon. My own guess is from industrial era onwards, or maybe just before. So I really don't think this is a conversation that we should be engaging in. So he doesn't consider himself to be a natural entrepreneur, but hey, He thinks he's not an entrepreneur, but lo and behold, look at what he's doing today. So this is another reason why I think the conversation is inconsequential. I really think the problem is folks have a dream, they want to do something, they don't know how to go about doing it, and that's one of the reasons why I have this podcast, so that whether you consider yourself to be a natural entrepreneur or not, you're going to be able to find one or two things that you need to overcome sales challenges and finding your first set of customers. So that's the reason why I have this show. So, as a member of the border guard and a visa officer in Lagos, he noticed a couple of things. That some people get rejected just because they have poor documentation for visa application. And so he figured it looks like there's a problem to be solved here. This is one case where market validation for his idea came very easy because he was here. He's on ground. He had worked on the UK end. He had seen people being denied. He had worked in Lagos, and from a documentary standpoint, he had seen people get denied. And so he could see that, there's a market for this thing here. Maybe I should give it a try. But of course, he also has a sense of integrity about him, and he cares for client results, because there are lots of visa application agents who don't care about the end results. For those of you who live in Lagos who have had to process multiple applications, you see that there are people who just basically just take your money, and they don't give a hoot. They take your money, they sit down with you, they fill out the form, they send the form, and then that's it. You can't follow up through them. They've collected their money, and that's all that they need. So for him, the whole thing of trying to infuse a sense of personal integrity and care for the clients is kind of what made him referable, because he was available. Come to the office, hit him up, and he would try to follow up and see where visa applications are, and then things like that. So, okay, so basically that was the problem. Uh, People were submitting paperwork that was insufficient, and he was able to get some credit facilities to help fund his business from the beginning. Now, even though he got credit facilities to fund his business, okay, I should have asked questions on what kind of credit facilities did he get. Okay, and hopefully, if I run into him again in the future, I'll bring that up in conversation. So, what was I? Okay, yeah, so he got credit facilities to help fund his business, but he still didn't solve the problem that when he started the business, he had to answer the question, how do I get customers? That's the reason why over here on the podcast, I keep saying time and time again, uh, whether you're bootstrapped or whether you're going to secure financing, we all get to this problem eventually. How am I going to get my first set of customers? That is the reason why I think, really, that for business success, the sales challenges are the things that we need to tackle head on. We can't run away from them. So if you have a bunch of savings and you want to go into business, that's good. But you have to start asking yourself those questions. Where am I going to get the customers? You run around, you go to the bank, you get a loan, you go and meet your wealthy uncle, your wealthy auntie, or you and your classmates pull together some savings. You still have to ask yourself those questions. Where am I going to get the customers? That was his biggest questions, because he had no customers, and this is going to be our own biggest questions as well. But he thinks that he was able to build a referral business precisely because he was available and he cared about people's what I say, the outcome of people's application. Now, I must admit, there were some people in the audience who were kind of snickering, saying that, well, of course he's going to get referrals. I mean, because he is a former border guard and control person who used to work in a visa office in Lagos, and he is Caucasian. So, there are some people who say that, Nigerians like Caucasians or worship Caucasians or whatever, that there is that race factor. So there's some people who sneak it and who figure that, of course, your business will boom. You're white. But I'm not convinced. I don't think it's automatically so. Yeah, maybe there are some Nigerians who will think, okay, based on where he has worked in the past and because he's Caucasian, let's give it a shot. So yeah, maybe there are those people, but I don't think that's enough to build a referral business. And those are kind of, should I say, ugly issues that I don't like to address on the podcast, but I figured let me just throw it out there because there are some people in the audience who had those comments, although nobody tackled him on that outright. Nobody asked him on that. Okay. So, inside comments, he thought that Nigeria is a prime place to be in because it has lots of wealth and opportunity. Now, remember, the date of this conversation, it was in the business incubation space. He was sitting down there with a couple of other entrepreneurs. I was in attendance. This was the 16th of July in 2021. So this is before the cash crunch, before Emefiele and the cash crunch. The naira becoming scarce, Nigerians having to pay over and above the official value of the naira to get the naira. This is before the fuel scarcity issues and the removal of the subsidy, and then the cost of living quadrupling for the average guy. This is before um, a whole bunch of stuff that have since happened since then. So I don't know if he's going to change his overall thesis that Nigeria is a country that has lots of wealth and opportunity. But anyway, that was his comments at the time, at 16th of July 2021. That Nigeria is a prime place to be in because there's lots of wealth and there's lots of opportunity. Okay, yeah, he also mentioned that eventually he had to limit his access availability over WhatsApp and then just limit it to email because he was overwhelmed with people sending WhatsApp inquiries at all manner of the day and night, asking for application status updates and then things like that. Then, okay, he also mentioned how he needed references and experience to get into the industry, and of course, his previous work experience as a border guard and control agent, and also working as a visa officer in Lagos, that helped. So, these are kind of the sundry issues that were discussed um, at the time, and yeah, these are the sorts of things that were discussed at the time, and well, it was supposed to have been this conversation, and others were supposed to have been a series of podcast episodes that would have come from that. So, like I said, Tim Nicholson, he's the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer for Tor Rise Consultancy. That's TOR, one word, then Rise, RISE, and then Consultancy. And they are a UK education and visa advisory company based in Nigeria, in Abuja. And so, from the conversation, I thought there were a couple of things that he ran through and that we discussed that would get good insight for the audience over here on the podcast. And I'm going to share what a couple of those are. So, number one, there's this whole thing of what business should you go into, because we meet people all the time who say, "Oh, I'm entrepreneurial. I come from an entrepreneurial family. I think I'm a natural born entrepreneur. I want to do something. I just don't know what it is that I should do." And I have spoken time and time again about the need for market validation. It's not necessarily about your passion. Passion is good because if you're passionate about something, it gives you the oomph, it gives you the mojo, it gives you the power, it gives you the drive to be able to continue and muscle through when things are low and when things are bad, because things are not always going to be up and moving well. So that's where motivation comes in. But we should be paying more attention to market validation. Is there market validation for the idea that you want to try out? Market validation just means, is there demand for this? Do people need this thing? And is the market saying that people are willing to pay for this service? In his own case, because by accident, because nobody wakes up saying, I want to be a border guard agent. No child goes to primary school and says, oh, you know what, I want to work in immigration. Very few children think that sort of thing. So for him, purely by accident, he's in a space where he can see the market validation happening right before his eyes. People are getting denied entry into the UK, and it's because of documentary reasons. They didn't provide the right documents, they didn't fill the documents properly, things like that. And people are paying to charlatans anyway and not getting value for their service. So, in his own case, market validation, that was very easy. But I hope you guys can see how market validation just it helps solve the problem. So this whole thing of, am I a natural entrepreneur, blah blah blah, all of that is not important. Is there market validation? Is there a market for this thing? Do you think you can hack it? Then sure, go in, of course, step by step. Then, okay, yeah, so market validation, another word for market validation, especially for people in the tech space, is when they talk about product market fit. So that means I have a product or a service. Is the market willing to accept it? In this case, the answer was obvious based from his own vantage point because he could see that there was a problem. Then there's this thing of is it important to care emotionally for your clients? There are some people who say yes, you should care for your clients. There's some people who say no, don't give a hoot about your clients, just collect your money. That is the most important thing. My own stance, okay, well, my own stance is not important per se, but let me just riff through a couple of things. Now, rather than thinking about your feelings, do I care for the client or not? You should be thinking about customer success, what the customer is able to achieve, what my product or my service is supposed to help them do. So whether emotionally, so whether emotionally you feel like you love them or you feel called to them, it's really not important. If you feel like you're in love with them, you want to be friends with them, that's good. All power to you. But so long as you're paying attention to customer success, you'll be fine. Even if you don't give a hoot, even if you don't give a hoot about your customers, which is the reason why drug dealers, for instance, are successful. Drug dealers don't care about me. Drug dealers don't care about you, but they want to know that the things that they mix. Excuse me. Drug dealers want to be sure that the things that they mix give the appropriate level of high and things like that, and get you coming back and back again. So drug dealers, they don't care any they don't have any crap feelings about us, but they're concerned about customer success, and that's the reason why drug dealers are wealthy. So it's the same sort of thing. Do you have to love the people? Nah, personally I do. But if you don't love the people, it's not bad. You don't have to tell people that you don't love them, because who wants to do business with someone who doesn't love them? But as long as you're focusing on customer success, then all of that is fine. Because like I know a oh, okay, yeah, that's the interruptions that I was talking about. Somebody just started his car right next to me. Let me let the dude just drive away so that the audio doesn't. Okay, all right. So he's gone. Now, I was saying the whole thing about feeling or caring for your customers. I know somebody who is a very successful wedding photographer. Sorry, not wedding photographer, child photographer in Abuja. And this guy does not like children. I repeat, he photographs babies and children, but he does not like them. When I say does not like, it's a capital N. But the thing is, he's real big on the whole customer success thing. The parents get the images that they enjoy, stuff like that. He doesn't like kids. He doesn't want kids. But his career has been going on close to 10 years strong, and it's an extreme case. But it kind of teases at what I'm trying to stress at here. This whole thing of, do you have to care for your clients? So feelings, whether they're there or not, I don't think it's inconsequential. I don't think it's consequential. For me, the feelings are definitely there. I care about the people that I do business with. But so long as you're focused on customer success, you'll be fine. Even if you're at the extreme end, like the child photographer who does not like children, or the drug dealer who doesn't give a crap about you. Then, okay, integrity and empathy. Okay, yeah, those are important because they lead to trust, likability, and they make you easily referable. If you don't have a sense of integrity about you, or if you don't seem to display some sort of empathy, empathy and feelings are not the same. That's a topic for another episode. Then, another question: is incorporation necessary before starting a business? That's also something that came up because he is incorporated, and a couple of people in the crowd wanted to know, do I have to register, and what kind of registration should I do? From the UK and the American background, there's the whole thing of trading name, companies limited by shares, S corp, blah blah blah, things like that. In Nigeria, it's a whole lot more simple. You have a trading name, or you have a limited liability company, or you're a company that is what's it called? Limited. No, what's it called? Companies. Sorry, forgive me. It's been a while since I put on my lawyer hat. Basically, you're either a for-profit company or not, or you're a charity NGO, or you have a trading name that you're doing business under. So in Nigeria, is a whole lot more simple. Anyway, so from the things that were tossed around, there are some businesses that require incorporation as part of legal compliance. So, my wife, she's in securities regulation. You are not going to be an entrant in the security space. You're not going to buy and sell shares and let's see what else, and different kinds of securities, unless you have incorporated and met all the registration requirements that are demanded by everybody. For some people, you have to be registered by CBN. The other people, okay, well, you all have to register by the Corporate Affairs Commission. Some people require CBN registration. Some people require registration with SEC, that is the Securities and Exchange Commission, and registration by other kinds of bodies. So there are some businesses, do your research, that incorporation and different kinds of registration are necessary. So you have to check. And then, plus, even where these things are not required, sometimes it gives some credibility to say that you are registered by the Corporate Affairs Commission. It gives some people ease that, okay, this guy is a registered company, CAC number, blah, 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 blah. This guy's not going to run away with my money. So sometimes it helps, even though you can just get away with doing business as doing business under a business name. Then, how do you get referrals to get clients? Really important because Mr. What's his name? Nicholson has a referral based business. So, like I said, customer success and customer satisfaction have to be key because if people are not happy, then they are not going to refer you. And, like I said, for those of us who used to live in Lagos and who know people who applied for visas, travel documentations, schools, things like that. For those people who use agents who they thought did give them a crappy service, those people would talk ad nauseum and would tell you, do not use so and so because I went there. This is what happened. This guy's a thief. This guy's a bastard. This guy's this. This guy's that. Those sorts of things. So, referrals, customer success, and customer satisfaction really, really important before people can refer you. But of course, you also have to ask for referrals. Oh, congratulations, ma. Oh, the visa has gotten through. We thank God. I'm glad I was able to help. I hope I made it a pleasurable experience. Blah blah blah. What did you like most about working with me? What could I have changed? Okay, ma. We thank God everything is good. Um, Please, ma, hope you don't mind. To promote my hospital, I would appreciate if two or three other people who are trying to apply for Dubai visa. I do that as well, or for this visa or for that visa. I mean, you get the whole point. Start the conversation. Be sure that they're fine. Ask for the referral. You have to ask. If you don't ask, you're going to get referrals, but that's just low hanging fruit. And then, of course, also put up put up testimonials, ratings, and reviews, blah, blah, blah. All those things. Have them as online collateral. So that when people find you on Google My Business or see you on Instagram, they think, okay, this is a legit guy. Let me try him out. Or this is a legit lady. Let me try them out. Then the question of finance came up, how to finance your business, because remember, this guy's business was financed. I can't remember how he got his own finance, but some of the ideas that were thrown up were loans and bank credit facilities. There was also the route for getting equity VC funding, where they take equity in your business. So I'm giving you, I don't know, 20M to start your business, and in exchange, I want 50% of your company, that sort of thing. And then there's the whole thing of bootstrapping. Well, that's where you use your sales to finance the business. You sell something, keep the money, put it back into the business, or where you use self funding. So, you're working with Zenith Bank. Zenith Bank pays you, I don't know, 500K every month. Out of that 500K, you try and live on maybe 400. You try and save 100. At the end of the year, you have 1.2 put aside. Use that 1.2 and start your dream business. So those are some of the options that we knocked about. Then, okay, one of the things that we discussed: should clients have direct access to you on WhatsApp? Eventually, he turned that off. He stopped having people access him directly on WhatsApp. But he pointed out, and this is something I've been pointing out for a while, that it is good to know your customer base in the early days. So in the early days, yes, be available. That is how you're going to know that your ideal customer profile, the people that you do business with the most, or the best business with the highest profit margins. That's how you're going to know that it is 35-year-old Nigerian women from the southern part of the country who have 4 children and who are trying to jackpot. That is how you're going to know them in exact detail, because you make yourself available and you're having conversations with people. Because after a couple of conversations, you look at your WhatsApp message and you're like, okay, I'm seeing a pattern here. Madam this person, Madam that person, Mr. this person, Mr. this person. It's like they're coming from this part of the country. Oh, they have a certain this number of children. Oh, they seem to work in the private sector. This is the kind of job that they do, blah, blah, blah. That is how you get a sense of who your customer base is. So in the early days, be available. When it becomes a headache, turn it off. But by then, you would have gotten a sense of who your ideal customer base is, and it's good because it gives you a sense of you now know who you're supposed to chase when you're trying to drum up business. And yeah, so that's it pretty much. So he was available initially over WhatsApp. Later on, he turned it off and it was purely by email because at least by email you can control. When you see that you get to the office at 8 a.m., 9 a.m., open up the email and then start responding. So these are some of the issues that we addressed at that session. Like I said, I was looking around. I found some papers where I made some notes. So this is a project that didn't happen, and this is old as at 16th of July 2022. But you can see, even though this project is outdated and it never took off between me and the business incubation outfit, you can see that there's useful stuff that we can mull on over here. I think I attended. I think we never got it started, but I was there for maybe four of those sessions or so. So if I find some of the old notes, I'll put them up here on the podcast. I'll make them podcast episodes so you guys can learn from all the juicy stuff that we discussed at the time. Remember, some of these things might be contextual to the time because this was 16th of July. So whether this is still a viable business model. No, I suspect this would still be a viable business model because I'm sure now more than ever, people are actually trying to run away. Maybe they're not running away to the United Kingdom anymore. Maybe now they're running away to Canada. Where else? Canada. Okay, I know some folks that have cut out to Japan. Okay, time's up. 30 minutes. Okay, so let me bring it to a close. I think that's it. I think I've exhausted all the important stuff anyway. So that's it. Thanks for your time and attention. Remember to connect with me on WhatsApp. The number is 080-6466-2140. The country code is +234 for those of you who are hitting me up outside the shores of Nigeria. And then connect with me on WhatsApp. My name is Tavishima Ayede. I'm the host of the show. Yes, my name sounds foreign. That's because I'm Tiv from Benue State. I know lots of y'all don't know Tiv people, but we exist. We're not dead. We're not extinct. Don't worry about the spelling of my name. Just check the link where you're listening to this episode. My name is there. The email address is there. So the correct spelling of everything is there. So thanks for your time and attention. I'll catch you guys at the next episode.